The Moncada y Reixac Eco-Park forms part of the group of installations foreseen in the 2009-2016 Metropolitan Municipal Waste Management Programme by the Metropolitan Water Services and Waste Treatment Authority, also known as the Barcelona Metropolitan Area Environmental Authority. The Environmental Authority manages public services concerned with the integral water cycle and solid waste treatment in the Barcelona metropolitan area. It serves more than 3,100,000 people in the 33 municipalities making up the area. The Moncada y Reixac Eco-Park itself treats the waste from Badalona, Badia del Vallès, Barberà del Vallès, Barcelona, Cerdanyola del Vallès, Moncada y Reixac, Montgat, Ripollet, Santa Coloma de Gramenet and Tiana municipalities, though it can accept waste from other places when necessary to guarantee proper management. The Moncada y Reixac Eco-Park is a facility financed by the Environmental Authority, the Generalitat de Catalunya Catalan Government and the European Union, and can handle 287,500 tonnes of waste a year. The plant treats municipal waste from selective collection of organic waste, packaging and the residual waste from the municipalities mentioned above, with the object of turning organic remains into compost and biogas and recovering still usable material from all fractions for recycling. At home, each one of us generates a large quantity of waste in the form of organic matter, such as food scraps, corks, or coffee grounds. So it can be treated and subsequently recycled, we must separate it correctly and put it in the right container, the brown one. At the same time, we also produce other types of waste that cannot be recycled, like the dust from sweeping, nappies, or cigarette ends. However, this refuse also needs to be properly managed, which is why it has to be separated from the other waste and put in the container for the residual waste, the grey one. The municipal dust carts are responsible for collecting each fraction and taking it to the treatment plant, in this case, the Moncada y Reixac Eco-Park. These vehicles carrying organic waste and the residual waste to the plant go over a weighbridge before unloading the material. These entry and exit weighbridges provide a record of which municipality the lorry came from, the amount of waste entering the facility, and the recyclable and rejected material leaving it. Having been weighed, the trucks unload each type of waste into the corresponding unloading pit. From here, 2 bridge cranes feed it into the selection processes for organic matter and the residual waste, and after the unloading, turn the material over to prevent it from fermenting. The organic matter that has been separated out at source goes through a specific selection process to remove unwanted materials that are not organic remains and prepare the organic matter for entering the anaerobic digestion process, which will turn it into biogas. The anaerobic digestion process begins at the mixer, where the organic matter is mixed with digestate and steam. It is then fed into the digesters so that the mixture can ferment under the action of different microorganisms. This fermentation gives off biogas, which is a mixture of methane and carbon dioxide and can be used as a fuel. By combustion of the biogas, the plant's cogeneration motors produce electricity and heat. The electricity is fed into the grid, and the heat is used to keep the digesters at the right temperature. The effluent from the digester, digested sludge, undergoes dehydration treatment and is then introduced into the composting process. The compost resulting from the digested sludge is of better quality than that from the organic matter of the residual waste. This produces a natural fertilizer which can be used in agriculture and gardening. In addition, during pre-treatment of the residual waste, still usable materials and the organic matter that has not been separated at source are selected and recovered by means of various mechanical devices. At the end of this process, the recovered material is pressed for transporting to recycling companies. the organic matter begins the process of composting, through which organic remains are transformed into low-quality fertilizer, which can be used in building. The organic matter recovered during the pre-treatment process enters the composting tunnels on a telescopic conveyor belt and begins a period of intensive composting lasting 3 weeks. At the end of this time, the organic material begins a period of maturing lasting another 3 weeks into the windrow channels. After 6 weeks, the compost is screened to remove the impurities like stones or wood chips. This involves selecting the right particle size and removing any undesirable materials that may still remain. The material that has been retrieved during the pre-treatment process of the organic matter and the refuse is sorted and pressed for transport to suitable facilities. The bales of recoverable material are ready for transporting to the relevant recycling companies who are responsible for transforming the material into new raw materials. The refuse bales, on the other hand, are transported to the corresponding final treatment facility. As we have seen then, the Moncada y Reixac Eco-Park selects and treats waste from the selective collection of organic and rejected matter. Thanks to these processes, the plant obtains electricity and compost and recovers a wide range of materials ready for recycling. Apart from treating organic matter and residual waste, the Moncada y Reixac Eco-Park also has a specific treatment line for packaging waste. Every day, each of us generates a large amount of packaging waste in the form of plastic bottles, yogurt pots, cans and cartons. To help in the treatment and recycling of all this material, we first need to separate it correctly at home and dispose of it in the corresponding container, the yellow one. The municipal dust carts will see to the collection of this fraction and its transport to the treatment plant, in this case, the Moncada y Reixac Eco-Park. These vehicles, which transport the packaging waste from the yellow container to the plant, also go over the weighbridge before unloading the material so that a record can be kept of their weight and which municipality they come from. Having been weighed, the trucks unload their material at the packaging yard. From here, a scoop regularly feeds the conveyor belt that takes the containers into the sorting process. In the container for the packaging fraction, we find recoverable materials with a very wide range of characteristics as regards size, weight, density, and raw material. In the first phase of the process, the packaging is selected according to size, allowing closed bags to be opened so that the material they contain can continue through the sorting process. Once all the packages have been removed from the bags, the process continues with separation according to shape. The packaging enters the ballistic separator, where it is separated into fine, flat, and rolling, and each fraction subsequently goes through a specific treatment process. Small light materials can hardly be classed as packaging. In this case, the belt goes through a magnetic separator that removes any ferrous material. Lighter materials, like plastic film bags, go through a classification process made up of optical and mechanical systems. The optical sorter identifies the materials, which are sorted into types by an air current, and then go through manual quality control. rolling fraction, we find most of the more commonly used types of packaging: bottles, cans, and cartons. In this process, sorting is done by type of material, depending on whether it is aluminium, iron, or plastic. On one hand, iron and aluminium packaging is separated by mechanical devices such as the electromagnet and the FOCO separator, respectively. On the other, plastic is sorted using optical and mechanical elements. The optical separator identifies the materials, and these are separated into different types by means of an air current. The selected material goes through sorting cabins where a number of people check the standard of the separation. Once the sorting process is complete, the packaging is compressed according to the type of material and taken to the storage area, from where it will be sent to the different retrieval centers to be turned into new raw materials. The resulting refuse bales, on the other hand, will be taken to the corresponding final treatment facility. As we have seen then, as well as organic matter and residual waste, the Moncada y Reixac Eco Park also selects and treats packaging waste from municipal selective collection. As a result of this sorting procedure, the plant recovers a wide range of material ready to be recycled. The Moncada y Reixac Eco Park incorporates a series of measures to control the environmental impact of its activity, the main ones being air and water purifying and minimizing the impact on the landscape. The air in the different buildings of the plant, which picks up smells and dust, is purified before being returned to the environment. Large ventilators draw air from inside the buildings through a network of tubes and take it to the air cleansing zone. Some of the contaminating substances are neutralized using chemical cleansing systems, and biofilters break down the substances that cause smells using a biological filtration process. Finally, the clean air is released through a chimney. Water is a key element in the processes of the plant. The Moncada y Reixac Eco Park has a storage lagoon for collecting rainwater, enabling it to reduce consumption of piped water, and a water treatment plant to clean the wastewater from the plant's different processes. The installation is able to reuse the treated water in the organic matter composting process. The Moncada y Reixac Eco Park forms part of the Environmental Authority's network of installations, whose goal is to provide citizens with a public service attentive to regional particularities and respecting sustainable development. To achieve this, however, it is essential to have the cooperation of the whole of the general public. By making small changes in our habits, we can help to make management of our waste easier and more agile, buying as little packaging as possible, separating waste at home properly, and placing it in the right containers, or giving a new lease of life to those materials that are still usable.